fake, looking to throw on first down. Grab down the middle. It's Jordan. Now here he goes. That gained enough for a fresh set of downs. Spotted at the 48.
This quarterback has a lot of different options, but I don't mind him getting this wide receiver involved so early in the game. Let him build up his confidence. He could have a monster day for you.
Solid gain, moves the ball to the 48. First down play here. The offense with some pre-snap eye candy. Fighting off the defender. Fans around the country got their eyes on this matchup, but this is going to be fun. It doesn't happen often enough in college football, an early season collision of top 5 teams.
Yeah, you love to see a test early in the year for the players and the coaches because you find out all that work you put in the summer. You think you got a good football team, and now you get a chance to go up against one of the top teams in the country. I'm just glad we're here to witness it.
Listen to the crowd energy here in the early going. This is a tough environment for visitors. They're going to run it. Crosses the 35. They get him to the ground, but an explosive running play there.
There's nothing more that helps an offense than committing to that running game and popping an explosive run like this on the ground. Keeps the confidence of your offensive lineup. Same with your back. It helps everything else that you're doing as an offense in your rhythm. Now you can come back with some counters, try to take some shots off of play action, and keep hammering away with that run game.
Quick pass. Here comes a jet sweep. They'll stop him behind the line for a loss of 1. Offense getting set up. Here's second down. Short pass finds the tight end. Not easy to bring down. The quarterback finally gets the job done.
You know, they're completing passes, but they're not getting the ball downfield. It puts a lot of pressure on your receivers to make plays after the catch. Now you're third down and long. You're going to have to get the ball thrown downfield if you want to be able to put drives together.
Dropping back, it's Mayava. Running out of time in the pocket. Oh, and he almost picked it off. Nearly a turnover here on the opening drive. It's going to bring up fourth down.
I know ultimately that feels like a good defensive play, but it's really not. They had a chance to keep points off the board, and now the offense has a chance to kick a field goal by that missed opportunity and dropping that interception.
Trying for a fourth down completion. Throws it to the right. He's got it. A fourth down conversion. Drive stays alive.
Well, it's always a gamble to go for it on fourth down where you're already in field goal range, but it looks like they won't rehash this decision when it's all said and done. That's a first down.
And the Trojans have first and 10 here. The quarterback's got it on the option. Stopped right there at the line. No gain.
That's how you defend the option. Take the quarterback away and then use your speed to bring the pitch back down.
The first real speed bump of this impressive drive. Offense comes up now 2nd and 11. Trying to find room. It's Tatum. That's a nice wrap up there by the junior. It's early, but this crowd is fired up. Listen to this noise here. This is going to be tough for the visitors today. Timeout is called by the defense. That's their first of the half.
Timeout, TCU.
And the crowd coming to life here, trying to help this defense down in the red zone. Dropping back, it's Mayava. Moves out of the pocket. Looking for 6. And they score, but there is a penalty marker on the field. Let's find out if this one's going to count. So that nice scoring play will be negated by the penalty. So on 4th down, the decision is to trot out the field goal team. The kick is good. He knocked it right down the middle. So we have our first points on the board. That makes it 3-0. Following the field goal, the kickoff team is out there now. Returner decides to fair catch this. Pre-snap adjustments now for this defense. And there's the handoff. Boom! And the run moves the ball up to the 33.
What a great job to be able to establish some rhythm to an offense. When you can run the football like this, it just opens up the playbook. You can continue to run. You can go to play action. You really keep the defense on their heels when you can run the ball like this. Nice play.
Moving the receiver around pre-snap. Out of the shotgun, he hands it off. They test the middle of the defense, but get nothing.
That play was perfectly defended. You know, sometimes as an offensive coordinator, you hit a wall, and it's time to mix some things up on what you show the defense.
Offense breaks the huddle and gets set. It's 3rd down. They pick up the first on the ground. Did not get there. And now it's going to bring up 4th down and 1. So on their first drive of the game, they'll go for it in their own territory. It's complete. That's enough for a first down. Heads out of bounds after a solid game.
But this coach isn't holding anything back today. Plenty of time left, and the confidence to go for it is very telling in the faith he has in his guys.
Offense will set up on 1st and 10. To throw, it's Weigman. Grabbed by the receiver. And heads out of bounds after a decent gain.
Well, we're just getting started here, and already you can feel a rhythm between a quarterback and a receiver. Nice job again getting back in the pocket, making a nice, accurate throw to one of his top targets.
The Horned Frogs moving quickly down the field here. They'll run it from the gun. 5-yard gain, so it's 2nd and 5.
Great offenses are able to stay ahead of the chains, and runs like that on 1st down are exactly what I'm talking about. Now you have a lot that you can call here on this 2nd down.
Getting set. Here's 2nd down. Here's a throw underneath to the tight end. The defense able to bring him down to wrap up the first period of play. So here we go, first play of the quarter. The offense has a first down. From inside the red zone, they're looking to throw. Quarterback looks to his right and finds his man. Nowhere to run. They'll corral him for no gain. Coming to the line on 2nd down. This is important. They want to avoid a 3rd and long. He's got it right near the end zone. Brought down at the 2 after the catch. The offense close to punching it in. On the ground, trying to power toward the goal line. The defense swarms him in the backfield. He had nowhere to run, loses 2 yards. Quarterback checks the defensive look, makes some adjustments. Looking downfield, it's Weigman. And it's incomplete. A very quick throw.
Risky throw here on second down. You know, small spaces down here can be an issue for any quarterback. Very interested to see what they call here on third down coming up.
After a long drive, it's a crucial 4-point play. Can they score a touchdown or have to settle for 3? Third and go, looking to throw for it. On the move now. Trying to run it in. The defense stops him close to the goal line, but not in.
Well, it looked like he might take that into the end zone for a chance to take the lead. I guess if there is a silver lining, the field goal option does tie the game up. Very curious to see what the offensive coordinator and the head coach decide to do here.
So forget the tying field goal attempt. They're going to go for it on fourth down. Aggressive call. It's a keeper trying to get to the marker. And he could not be stopped. Touchdown, Texas Christian.
Chris, what about the mentality here from this offensive coordinator? Instead of throwing the football, they decide to get behind the offensive line, get physical with this defense, and pound it into the end zone.
And the point after is good. So after putting up the touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away. And the return man decides to signal for fair catch. And the first play of the drive now from the 25. Off the play fake, looking to throw. He escapes the pocket. Looking for a receiver deep middle. And is picked off. Threw it across his body and paid the price. Breaks into the open. They finally tackle him, but an excellent return after the pick.
Chris, if you're going to make that throw, that's called a two ball. That means it's got to be on a line. Here he puts it way up in the air and allows the defender to come over and make a play on the ball. Great job by the defense.
Offense is back out on the field. The last drive, the passing game, very effective. Moved him right down the field. And the defense make adjustments. And he will be stuffed for no gain.
Well, the defense had everything covered downfield. The quarterback tries to check it down. But how about the defensive speed to be able to sniff that out?
Second down after that previous play. Back to pass. It's Weigman. Pass ball is incomplete. There was a lot of contact. No penalty. Brings up third down.
What a hit there by the defender. Tough for the receiver to hold on to the football when he has that kind of contact. Good, clean play by the defense.
And he'll drop back here on third down. Makes a quick grab. He stopped short of the marker, so it's fourth down now. And the Horned Frogs will hustle to the line here to run the hurry up. And he's throwing for it on fourth down. Quarterback finds an open target on the left side.
Chris, how about this? You're inside the red zone. You get the fourth down. You go for it. You show that aggressive approach. Your players love that you show confidence in them. And you're rewarded with a first down.
Looking for a gap. It's Payne. The gain is 4, so it's 2nd and 6. Quarterback making some changes at the line. Second down, we're going to throw it. He's running out of time here. He throws the ball out of bounds there. Smart not to take a sack on that play. Brings up third down.
Man, I like this play. Not only is it the right play, throwing it away like that, but given that he had no other option, he just did what he's supposed to do to survive and get ready for this next down.
On third down, he drops to throw. He makes the grab in the end zone. Touchdown, Horned Frogs.
Well, that's a thing of beauty right there. Good job all around. Offensive line gave the quarterback enough time. Quarterback puts it right on the money. And with this receiver running a route like this, makes it pretty simple. All you have to do is get his head turned around, catch that football. He's already in the end zone for the touchdown.
No problem with the PHC. The lead 14-3. Got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. And the returner decides to signal fair catch. And the first play of the drive now from the 25. Out of the shotgun, he'll hand it off. They try the middle, but gain nothing on that play. So the counter play doesn't work. The defense in good position that time to make a play.
You know, on most of these counters, you leave the in-man on the line of scrimmage unblocked, and you try to pull those offensive linemen and kick him out. But if you have an aggressive defense, sometimes that can backfire, and the defense knew exactly what was coming there.
So the running play stopped on first down, brings up 2nd and 10 from their 25. Back to pass. It's Mayava. The pass rush closing in. Hit as he releases it, and the pass ball is incomplete.
Boy, that pass rush got in there in a hurry. Great job by this defense of disrupting the rhythm and timing between the quarterback and the receivers.
Drops back, needing a 3rd down completion here. He cannot escape. It's a sack. And the defense will spend their 2nd timeout here to make some adjustments.
Great call here going that nickel defense, giving you more speed on the field in that 3rd down and long. Nowhere to go. Gave the defensive line plenty of time to come up with that sack. And now it's 4th down and long.
See if he can make something happen with the return. Returner tackle right there. That's what will start the drive. So here we go. First play of the drive, under 2 minutes before halftime. And they'll run it out of the shotgun. It's a 1-yard gain. 2nd and 9 coming up.
Love this early in the game by this defense, taking control of the line of scrimmage, not giving this back anywhere to go, and they keep him short of the first down.
Tries the right with a quick throw. And he drops it. Can you believe it?
Oh, man, for him to be that wide open and drop it. Sometimes you just have too much time in your hands. You end up thinking way too much. Gets your hands a little shaky.
After the incompletion, they'll have to try to convert here on 3rd and 9. Dropping back, looking to throw for the first down. Intercepted, picked off by the defense. Not much on the return there, but the takeaway will give the offense the football at the 46.
He didn't really seem to feel like he had anybody open. He just puts it up in the air, and the defense says, thank you, we'll take it.
So the first play of the drive here coming up, less than 2 minutes left on the clock. Using his legs, it's Jordan. He'll try to run inside, but nowhere to go.
Chris, textbook job by the defense, surrounding the runner and preventing that play from being bounced to the outside.
2nd down play coming up. Looks right for a quick completion. And he'll be smothered right at the line for no gain.
It can be hard sometimes in a pre-snap, but if the quarterback can identify the outside coverage, he can avoid these kind of losses. This was just man coverage on the outside, and the secondary pounced on that screen.
The timeout is called to talk strategy. Close game here as we approach halftime. They come to the line, a long way to go for the first down, but needing this crucial conversion right now. Looking to pass. It's Mayava. And here comes a deep shot. And it's incomplete. They weren't afraid to let it fly, but it brings up a 4th down.
Chris, those deep shots, to me, the advantage is with the quarterback and the receiver because you know where the ball is. Great defensive backs' only chance is being able to locate the ball and be able to go up and knock it away. Really impressed with his ability to find the football, which allowed him to be able to eventually make the play.
And the pass is intercepted as he throws into double coverage that time. And he's bringing it back. He goes down, but they'll have a chance here now just before halftime.
Well, that's now 2 interceptions for this quarterback, and we're only in the first half. This is the exact start this defense was hoping for to create a ton of momentum.
So they start the drive looking for some late fireworks here, less than 30 seconds before halftime. On 1st and 10, look at the throw. It's a quick grab. Tackle made, but the gain moves the ball to the 30. The offense comes back out there. Not much time left. Perhaps just time for a couple plays before the half. Quick throw to his receiver. And it falls incomplete with just 6 seconds remaining to play. Looks like one more play here before halftime. Quarterback appears to be changing the play. He'll hand it off. And they finally stop him, but a decent gain that time. And the offense spends their final timeout of the half here to talk strategy. So with only a few seconds left in the half, out comes the field goal unit. And now a timeout quickly called by the defense as they try to get everybody on the same page here. So with only a few seconds left in the half, the field goal unit comes out of the field. And the field goal is good. And those 3 points will finish off the first half and take us to halftime. Minna's going to wrap up the first half here. Let's kick it down to Kevin Connors with our halftime update. The Trojans will kick it away to get us going in the second half. Fields it just outside the goal line. He's got some daylight turning on the speed. They get him down, but he found a good lane in that return. So the drive starts with pretty decent field position. Here's the first play of the drive now. They're set up at their 40. Play action here on 1st down. And he's hit right as he throws it. Incomplete.
Anytime a quarterback's able to recognize a free rusher like that, that's what the check down is for. He has to recognize the protection issues quickly and pivot.
Looking to throw. It's Weigman. Caught over the middle. It's Baker. Breaks one tackle, gets brought down, but picks up some decent yardage. Looks like a man is down on the field after the last play, so we'll take a timeout. Offense sets the formation. It's 3rd down. Back in motion now. Caught behind the line. It's Bailey. And he's tackled just short of that 1st down marker. Good job by the defense.
Well, they're going to come up short of the sticks here, and we got a tough decision at this point in the football game for the head coach. What will they do now on 4th down?
The offense stays on the field. They're going to go for it on 4th down in their own territory. They'll try to run it with the option. Oh, they've stopped him short. What a 4th down play, and they will take over on downs now.
Well, the ball's close to midfield, and this offense is trying to get things going here in the second half. I understand the aggressive mindset, but this one could cost them.
From the pocket, delivers over the middle. They get him down quickly. Not much of a gain on that completion.
Love the timing here between the quarterback and his receiver. Pick up some positive yards, and I continue to be impressed with just the chemistry between these two.
Quarterback wants to throw it on 2nd down. Snags a quick throw. And the defense grabs him after the completion. He's just short of a first down.
This is an example of a quarterback and his offense just taking what the defense gives you. Not a huge play, but positive yards. The defense wants to give that throw to you. You take it, get the ball to your receiver, stay ahead of the sticks.
That's caught. It's Jordan. Clutch conversion on third there. Sets him up first down from the 31. And the Trojans looking to crank up the tempo a bit.
This is a big conversion by this offense. They're down now in the second half. Probably limited opportunities at this point in the game. Every chance you get your hands on the ball, you need points. They keep this drive alive right here.
Now it's second down here. Dropping back, it's Mayava. Pressure is coming. Just throws it away, but takes a big hit in the process.
Well, these guys just continue to struggle throwing the football. You know, whether it's been running the wrong route, quarterback not being accurate, the offensive line not doing their job. It's been a collective effort, and it's a big reason why they're trailing now in this game.
Drops back, looking to throw for it on third down. Looking for his big tight end. What a catch! Tackled at the 5-yard line. Now it's first and goal right there. And the Trojans' offense is on the move now. The offense bracing here for a heavy blitz. Motion now from the tight end. First and goal, handoff. And he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
How about this defense? Just so physical against the run. These guys have not been able to do anything on the ground, and it's because of that defensive line and those linebackers taking away the run game.
Here's the option play. Couldn't quite get there. Brought down at the 2.
And the defense is all over the option on this play. That play didn't have a chance from the beginning.
Looking to convert on third down. They come to the line in the Wildcat formation. And it's a direct snap. Oh, and he's going backwards. The Wildcat look did not fool this defense at all.
And that is just a great job by this defense on third down. Getting penetration, they come up with a loss. Now, it's a big decision. Fourth down, as an offensive coordinator, you've been going backwards. What do you call?
To throw, it's Mayava. Looking to the end zone. And he's got it. Touchdown, USC.
Boy, what a job by the offensive coordinator going to that 5 wide receiver set, creating the one-on-one matchups, finding the most favorable matchup, and then going to that receiver for the score.
And they're able to tack on the extra point. Kickoff team out there, they are fired up after just scoring a touchdown. And here's the fair catch by the return man. First play of the drive now from the 25. Off the play fake on first down. The pocket breaking down. And that's incomplete. Even on a first down pass attempt, he felt heavy pressure.
Well, it's pretty simple. The defensive line does a great job of getting after the quarterback and forcing him into that incompletion.
So 2nd and 10 from the 25. Important to get something here to avoid that tough third. And it's picked off. He throws it right into double coverage and pays for it. Touchdown, Trojans. A big defensive score.
Not only are they able to come up with some points of their own, now the defense on the other side comes up with a turnover and a touchdown to tie the game, and they're an extra point away from taking the lead.
They'll set up for the PAT. He knocks through the PAT and ties the score here in the third period. So after putting up the touchdown, the kickoff team is out there to boot it away. Looks like the returner will try and field this one. And he's tackled at the 21. That's where the drive will start. Offense out there to start a new drive from the 21. Quarterback making adjustments down to what the defense is showing. To throw, it's Weigman. Bringing pressure. Pulls it in. It's Baker. Defense shoves him out of bounds. Not much of a gain there. And the Horned Frogs hustle to the line to run the hurry-up.
This is what you love to see, right? Quarterback does a nice job of looking and finding his open receiver, and he waits to the last possible second. In fact, Chris, he gets hit as he gets that ball out of his hands. So good job of showing some strength and a good job of throwing with accuracy as he's taking that hit.
Big guys up front lined up. It's first down.
Defense kind of lost the running back here. Makes a nice catch and gets the first down in the process.
With the catch, it's Payne. He's in the clear. Here he goes. At the 10. Touchdown, TCU. And they jump on top here in the second half.
Chris, how dangerous is this offense? Of course, you know about the receivers, those vertical shots, but here's an example. You give the ball to the running back out in space, takes it all the way to the end zone for a touchdown.
Point after, up and good. He'll call for the fair catch here. And the first play of the drive now from the 25. On first down, it's play action. That's reeled in. It's Tatum. They get him down, but the gain moves the ball up to the 36.
Pick up of 10. And that's a first down for the offense. That's the end of the third quarter of play. The score, TCU 24, USC 17.
Back at it to start the quarter. Offense getting set to run a first down play. They go with a direct snap. It's a 2-yard gain. Second and 8 coming up.
Hey, it's a great job with this defense containing the running game. But if I'm calling the plays, I'm not abandoning the running game just yet. I think it's important to have some sense of balance. So throwing and running is essential. Stick with it.
Breaks into the clear. Brought down, but not before he gets into enemy territory at the 49.
Just a great play by the running back here, finding his lanes and then exploding through the gap when it opened up.
Trying to find some room. It's Tatum. And the defense smothers him for no gain.
Well, they keep trying to run the football, and they keep getting dominated at the line of scrimmage. That has been a theme throughout this entire game. We've talked about it earlier in the game. It's not changing at all. They've become one-dimensional, and I think it's allowed this defense to really lock in on that quarterback.
Solid gain in the running play. Third down now. Handoff here from the shotgun. And this one goes nowhere. Lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. So here we go. Down one score. They're going to go for it on fourth down. Dropping back. It's Mayava. The pass is incomplete. That's a big stop for this defense on fourth down.
Oh, so close to executing here on the fourth down play in the fourth quarter. You're only down a possession. Now you got to rely on your defense to come up with a stop and get your offense back on the field.
Grinding away with the running game. Has the first down and more.
Good call here by the offense to be able to pick up this first down. And, Chris, it makes you wonder, with under 3 minutes to go in this game and trailing, the defense sitting back in their base, I thought they might be in a little bit more of an aggressive mindset, turning the blitz loose, trying to create some plays to get the football back.
They'll go with the ground game here. Running back takes the handoff. He's in the clear. That's a solid gain. Moves the football inside the 30 and a first down.
That's going to be a first down, and really, Chris, kind of surprised here in the fourth quarter not to see this defense dial up some pressure. They're just sitting back in the base,
making it relatively easy for the offense to pick up a first down on the ground.
Quarterback changing the play now at the line. On first down, they'll keep their running game churning. Try to run it up the middle, but get nothing. Well, this is what we hope for. This is what we expected for a tight, tough battle between two really good teams. Now, who can step up and make that winning play down the stretch?
Well, early in the year, these two teams have actually lived up to the billing of two top-5 teams, showing a lot on offense and defense. Now, with so much on the line early in the year, tight game, who's going to make the plays to walk out of here the victor?
There's the handoff. Defense gets him down, but they'll take the gain on that play.
Positive yards are always important for an offense, but at this stage of the game, late in the ball game, playing with the lead, you're thinking about working that clock and continuing to keep the ball in bounds.
So the clock stops as we head into the final 2 minutes of play here. This defense needing to step up and make a play now. So now it's 3rd and short from the 23. Potential 4-down territory. Let's see what the 3rd down call is. On the shotgun, it's a handoff. Fighting for yardage, but the defense stops him just short of that 1st down marker.
Now they run the football here. I thought he might have enough room to be able to extend to get across that 1st down mark, but he's going to be a couple of yards short. Good job by the defense at having awareness of space there and knew exactly what they needed to do to bring him down.
So on 4th down, here comes a crucial field goal attempt. He got it. The field goal is good. And they add to their lead. So after the field goal, the kicker out there again to boot it away.
Snap, the hold, the kick, everything there perfect to put 3 points up here for the offense.
First play of the drive now from the 25. Back to throw. It's Mayava. It's incomplete. He was hit as he threw a good pass rush there on 1st down. At the 25, it's 2nd and 10. Can they make it a 3rd and manageable here? Looking to pass here on 2nd down. It's incomplete. He was hit as he threw that time. And now 3rd down coming up. Not going to be easy here. Backed up a long way to go for a 1st down. And he'll drop back here on 3rd down. Looking for a late deep throw. That one falls incomplete. They tried to press it deep, but now it brings up 4th down.
Well, that's not what you want to see as an offense when you're trailing late in a football game. An incompletion on 3rd down and long. Hey, it's a bit of a risk, but with that clock looking the way it looks right now, I think you've got to go for it here and hope to convert on 4th and long.
This one falls incomplete, and the defense makes a 4th down stop.
Well, Chris, they just had to go for us here. With the time that they have left, down by a couple possessions, really didn't have much of a choice. A really good effort to go for it, to try to keep this game alive, just not enough.
That solid pursuit, they'll trap him out there behind the line of scrimmage.
Chris, I think we all kind of get caught up in 3rd down. What's an offense doing on 3rd down? But I think what's also important is how well do you defend 1st down. If you can hold your opponents to a short gain or a tackle for a loss, you throw the offense out of whack, and their game plan gets much more challenging to try to come up with that 1st down.
The Horned Frogs looking to cash in the red zone. They bring him down, but that is a crucial first down. They could just run out the clock in victory formation now. Now a timeout is called with just 10 seconds left to play. Game is clearly wrapped up, but the offense looking to rub it in here in the final minute. And the pass is incomplete just across the goal line.
Well, if nobody's open, you can't risk the possession like this. Tossing it into coverage in the end zone, that's a good way to earn a spot on the bench.
Nothing on that play makes it second down and goal from the 2. They're going to run the option. No stopping him on that run. Touchdown, Texas Christian.
So much about speculation on whether or not they're going to kick a field goal or go for a touchdown. They put this ball into the end zone, and they put this game out of reach. What a job by this team and by this offense.
Now the try for the 2-point conversion. And the quarterback drops back looking for an open man. And he's got it. So the 2-point try is successful, and they build the lead even further. Got momentum after scoring that touchdown. Now the kickoff team out there to kick it away. And the returner elects to fair catch it. No return. First play of the drive now from the 25. Looking to pass. It's Mayava. Defense is coming after him. Oh, they've got him, and that will do it as this game ends on a sack. This was a case of a higher-ranked, respected team that came in here and handled business. Did what we expected them to do, Kirk, but they did it with impressive focus and execution.
Man, you said it. These guys just seem to be on a mission today. They weren't going to let anything get in their way, especially another ranked opponent. This team was motivated from the opening kickoff.
And that's going to wrap it up. For Kirk Street, I'm Chris Fowler. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.